With the new set, Modern Horizons 3, I will be playing one of my favorite decks in Pauper. We will be adding many cards from Modern Horizons, but the two main ones are Malevolent Rumble and Riding Chrysalis. The first card creates an Eldrazi token, which can fetch a permanent from the top 4 cards in your library. This ramps you up to play Riding Chrysalis on turn 3, creating 2 new Eldrazi tokens when cast. These tokens can be used to play a turn 4 Boarding Party or a turn 5 Annoying Altisar, while other lists run Arbor Elf, Wild Growth, and Utopia Sprawl for a turn 2 Thermokarst or a turn 3 Muanvuli Acid Moss. This presents some problems. Firstly, cascading into mana dorks is always a bummer. Secondly, cascading onto a land destruction effect against a big field is useless. With that in mind, I decided to cut each of those cards and we will take this deck to a league to see how powerful it is, and prove we don't need to destroy any lands to win. In our first match, we were paired against Simic Mill, likely the worst and most boring matchup for this deck. The way to win, if at all, would be either looping through the dungeon to deal 5 damage per iteration, or hoping they run out of fog effects. While not ideal, it was our only option for game 1. We started by playing a Malevolent Rumble into a Riding Chrysalis on turn 3, aiming to deal as much damage as possible with a turn 4 Boarding Party. The Cascade triggered, revealing an Avenging Hunter which triggered the initiative in our favor. We attacked for 10 this turn, but the opponent prevented the damage, played a land, and passed. I attacked once more, this time for 17, but the damage was prevented again. Additionally, my creatures wouldn't untap next turn, so I played a second Hunter, but it got countered. The silver lining was drawing 2 new cards from this interaction, though my chances of winning were fading. I untapped, dealt 5 damage with the dungeon, and played another Hunter to advance further. The opponent didn't play anything for their future turns, so on mine, I attacked again, and unsurprisingly combat damage was prevented again. I cast another Rumble and the last Hunter appeared. Unfortunately, the opponent gained a bunch of life thanks to Weather the Storm at the end of the turn and drew 3 more cards with Lorien Reveal on theirs. I untapped, attacked, and once more got fogged. I played another big creature and passed. This pattern repeated for a while until they eventually ran out of fog effects, and I managed to win. Post sideboard, a Singleton Flaring Pain will be critical to winning this boring matchup, and 3 Pyroblasts will help protect my spells. Drawing the Flaring Pain early was crucial, and as expected, it was just a matter of filling the board with big creatures, attacking, and surprising my opponent when they cast their fog to win match number 1. For match number 2, I played against Boros Sythesizer. We kept a decent hand. They played a turn 2 Lembas, and I started with a turn 3 Eldrazi Repurposer. The opponent untapped, played a Novice Inspector, and drew an Avenging Hunter, so I needed to kill their creatures to take advantage of the initiative without fear of losing it in combat. The opponent killed my creature and played a Synthesizer and another Lembas. I killed their creature with a Bolt, and the Hunter entered the battlefield, fetching another mountain so I could have another Bolt ready. They killed my creature with a Blast and played 2 back-to-back Glint Hawks. I killed one before they passed. I scryed 2 cards to the bottom with the Dungeon ability, and killed the second bird with another Bolt. I then played another Eldrazi and passed. The opponent drew for the turn, played a few artifacts, and eventually resolved a Core Sky Fisher, returning a Lembas to their hand. In response, I played an Annoyed Altisar, revealing a removal to clear the board. The opponent then played another Hawk, returning another artifact to their hand, but nothing impactful hit the field after that. I untapped, played a second Dinosaur that cascaded into a Boarding Party, into an Eldrazi, and the opponent scooped. We brought in a couple of breath weapons to kill the small creatures. A turn 2 Malevolent Rumble revealed a Riding Chrysalis. On their turn, the opponent played a Core Sky Fisher, returning a Traven Inspector to their hand and replaying it. I cast a Chrysalis on my turn, and the opponent played most of their hand and attacked. My Secret Reach creature blocked and killed their creature. On my turn, I played a second Riding Chrysalis, and the opponent scooped. For match number 3, we played against Dimir Faeries. I waited until they tapped out to kill their creature. Unfortunately, I didn't have any turn to play, so I passed while they cycled their hand with the help of Modern Age. I played a Repurposer, and the opponent returned a Sneaky Snacker to the field with the help of a Brainstorm. I attacked and tried to resolve the Chrysalis, but it got countered. With the remaining tokens, I decided to cast a Visionary to draw another card and passed. They attacked for the turn, and on mine, I attacked and played the second Chrysalis, but it got countered. Like the last turn, I resolved a Visionary and passed back. They attacked, putting me down to 6. I hit them for 7, bringing them down to 5. They attacked once more, but the Cascade on my Altisaur didn't add anything relevant. So we moved to game number 2. We added some Pyroblast and Breath Weapon and started by cycling my Oliphant to fetch a green source. They played a Modern Age, and I used the opportunity to resolve a Visionary to draw a card while they were tapped out. He got killed, but I managed to sneak in a Malevolent Rumble that found me another land. They flipped their Saga and passed. On my turn, I decided to play a Riding Chrysalis to bait a counter, but it resolved. The opponent cast a Lorien Revealed and used a Snuff Out to get rid of my creature. The good news was that I could freely untap and play one of my bigger creatures, but unfortunately, the Cascade revealed a Breath Weapon that was not useful in this spot. The opponent played 2 other Modern Ages on their turn and tapped out, leaving the Altisaur unharmed, which was great news. On my turn, I killed their creature, cast another Repurposer, and attacked with my big dinosaur, putting them down to 6. I untapped and attacked, and they used Suffocating Fumes to shrink my creatures. Wanting lethal, I used the Discharge to kill their blocker, but they countered it with a Fairy. I then used the Breath Weapon to clear the board, hit for 5, and finished things off with a Lightning Bolt, moving us to game number 3. In game 3, I played a land and passed, cycling for another one. Eventually, they played a creature and I killed it. On my turn, I played a Visionary to draw a card. They played a Modern Age, and I played 2 creatures to establish board presence. Their Saga flipped, and a Mystic joined the party. After drawing another land, I attacked, trying to bait the Mystic to block. A Snuff Out killed one of my creatures, and the Mystic avoided combat, so I saved my Elf and killed 2 of theirs. The opponent drew 2 new cards with Deep Analysis, and the Sneaky Snacker returned to the battlefield, flipping the Saga as well. Luckily, a boarding party revealed a Pyroblast to kill their Bird Enabler, and I attacked with the team. I lost the Elf and the Pirate in the process due to a well-timed removal. The opponent drew 2 more cards with Analysis going down to 3. On my turn, an annoyed Altisaur revealed a Lightning Bolt, threatening lethal, but they had a timely counter. I passed the turn aiming for a bigger attack on my next one, but they played 2 back-to-back ninjas to block. I attacked with my remaining creatures, and after a few trades and drawing more lands, I eventually lost the match. Against Mono White Heroic, my plan was to overrun them with my big creatures. However, I couldn't find a red source in time, lost the initiative, and got killed in the process. We moved immediately to game 2. I added 2 Breath Weapons and some Weather the Storm to my deck, cutting some Avenging Hunters, since they have many flying creatures. In the early turns, I managed to kill their initial creatures, and a Malevolent Rumble helped me find my lands. They drew a card for their turn, and I untapped and cast a Repurposer, then passed the turn. A Novice Inspector joined their side, and on my turn, I cast an Avenging Hunter, fetching a red source to keep a Lightning Bolt ready. The opponent used a Journey to Nowhere to deal with my Hunter, but didn't attack. At the end of their turn, I killed one of their creatures, untapped, and cast a Riding Chrysalis. The opponent played another creature and began to fill the board. I played a boarding party that revealed another Repurposer, killed the Burglar, and attacked for 10. The opponent untapped, created a couple of tokens, and dealt with my Chrysalis using a Trap and Charm. Luckily, I drew an annoyed Altisaur, which revealed a Llanowar Visionary. I attacked, putting them down to 9. They untapped and played more creatures, gaining life with Lunarch Veteran. With 2 Lightning Bolts in hand, I decided to attack with everything, waiting for my opponent to assign blockers. After some math, they blocked, and I finished them off with both bolts, moving to game 3. Although my hand wasn't the best, it was good enough to keep. After a turn, 1 Inspector, the opponent added a Crimson Acolyte, which has protection from red and can grant it to others. I killed their creature while I could. A side note, Chrysalis is colorless due to its Divid nature, so it can bypass the Acolyte's protection. The opponent drew a card and cycled another to fetch a Plains, returning the Inspector to the field with Recommission. I killed the Inspector again, played my Chrysalis and passed. Unfortunately, they killed it with a Journey to Nowhere and attacked again. I played my Avenging Hunter, got the initiative, and passed. They played a Core Skyfisher and an Inspector. I played another Chrysalis and attacked with the Hunter to put pressure on them. They played a Battle Screech, adding 4 flyers. Expecting a Guardian's Pledge, I goaded their Acolyte and played a Visionary and a Boarding Party, which revealed a second Visionary. I attacked with my Hunter, putting them to 16. On their turn, they attacked with everything. Expecting the Pledge, I blocked to avoid dying while keeping enough creatures to kill them on the swing back. After taking a big hit, I untapped, cast a Boarding Party, and won the match, moving to our final one. This match is interesting as my ramp deck faces a regular Gruul Ponza version. A turn 1 Arbor Elf is always bad news, so I killed it on sight, fetching a mountain to do so. A Malevolent Rumble found a Chrysalis, and the opponent failed to destroy my red source, so I cast the Chrysalis. The opponent killed 2 of my lands, but I maintained board presence, so I fetched a dual land by cycling my elephant, and attacked for 2. They untapped and played 2 Eldrasis, making their board bigger. A Visionary drew me a card and added mana. On their turn, the opponent played a Generous Ent and attacked with their Chrysalis, so I took 5. I untapped, and a Rumble found me a land, which I used to play another Chrysalis. This allowed me to block their creatures and plan to cast the Avenging Hunter next turn. The opponent played another Repurposer, but just passed the turn. As planned, the Avenger hit the battlefield, hoping not to lose the initiative. The opponent passed back. The dungeon revealed another Hunter, which I played to create a treasure token. They played a Sprawl, and on my turn, I created a Skeleton token and cast both my Repurposers, deciding not to play the third Avenger in case they drew theirs. I started assembling the board, and after goading their creature, the opponent scooped. I made no changes and ran it back. I tried to mulligan to a better hand, but ended up with a mediocre 5. After getting my lands killed, the opponent eventually cascaded into a blank target. I untapped, played a Repurposer, and passed. They followed with an Altisor into a boarding party, into another Thermokarst, and attacked. I traded my Eldrazi for one of their pirates, and on my turn, played the Chrysalis and a second Repurposer to hold the battlefield. I traded for their bigger creatures, hoping to draw better than them. A Visionary drew a boarding party, and the opponent passed again. The Rumble found a land, and the Oliphant would find another red source later. Meanwhile, I attacked. The opponent passed again, and I found an Avenging Hunter, casting it to search for another land. Once more, the opponent passed with no plays. On my turn, I played my Altisor, which revealed a Generous Ent. I attacked with my Dinosaur and eventually won the game, proving that Ponza sucks in Pauper.